Okay, something different tonight as we take a look at the fly-on-the-wall documentary, Airline. The British show that follows Britannia Airways in Series 1 and EasyJet from Series 2 onwards. The show lasted for 10 seasons from 1998, with 124 episodes being made as well as a special. It was narrated by Tony Robinson as we follow the staff and crew of the airlines. So now that we have the background, let's have a look at a couple of episodes. First up, we are looking at Season 1 Episode 4. So we are in Magaluf as we then see the airport as it is causing problems as the woman explains the distance between the two department lounges. We then see one of the staff as they are running around. She explains it is a 15-minute walk between the two lounges. That is crazy. The narrator talks about scooters, but they don't have any at this airport, so tough luck. They then talk about the language barrier as the staff don't speak Spanish. So that's a whole lot of confusion. Honestly, I'm surprised this airport is even open. So everyone boards the plane as we then get the news one of the passengers has been taken ill, so they had to stop the plane and deboard the passenger. The passenger is taken to the hospital to get treatment. So at the training center, we see the crew get their training in as they can't close the door correctly. It's very embarrassing as we then get back to the plane as they are trying to find the ill passenger's bag. The whole plane has been waiting 20 minutes as they search for all the bags that need to come off. The pilots are annoyed as the woman says it is very hard work because the Spanish are very slow. How ironic. The pilot gets on the phone as he says he is a thicko because of his family have completed uni courses or something. The woman still can't close the door as she storms off and cries. So they have found the ill passenger's bags as the pilot smiles to the camera. The plane goes off as we see the passenger in hospital. So in Manchester, another woman is talking about the plane as it has to have some engine work. She is talking to her staff as the crew work on the plane. The narrator explains she fell in love overseas and can't wait to see the man again, so she doesn't want a long delay. The passengers are annoyed with the delay as the woman talks about how long the checks are taking. Jo is still fighting her door as she finally gets it in one. She can't believe it and nor can I. So the passengers finally have a new plane, but in a twist it has no fuel as the fueler wants his dinner first, so he doesn't want to do it as they call around trying to find someone. So at home some guy is shaving as he talks about all the famous people he has had in his plane as some old people get their passports out as they talk a whole load of rubbish as the shaven guy is giving out popcorn. The old people get on the plane as he is still serving out sweets. The plane takes off as passengers are still angry about the no fuel for the plane as suddenly they get the news that after 6 hours, the plane is now ready. So they get on board as the old people kiss, so people start drinking as the cabin crew are annoyed with them. The passengers drink up as they serve out food. The passenger says it is the worst meal she has ever had, but other passengers love it. The Manchester flight gets ready as one of the passengers hates flying as they close the door. Kathy's shift is over as she says she is off to see her boyfriend as some cabin crew are talking about the wild night they had out after they completed their training. They talk about chatting up some girls as they then get ready for their test. So Jo gets her results as she passes. I'm surprised as she cries. Aaron also passes as they get their certificates. They celebrate as Kathy is packing for her trip. She talks about how her boyfriend loves chocolate. She says she loves her boyfriend who is 13 years younger than her. So at Venice we hear about a very important person as the crew greets them. The army brings in the lion as she is on the move to her new zoo. So they get the lion on the plane as they are pleased that they are on time. So Kathy has arrived as she can't find her boyfriend. She calls him as he says he is on his way, but 45 minutes later he still hasn't arrived. He clearly isn't into you, Kathy. So the plane is announcing they have a lion on board as the passengers are confused. The woman says she cried when the lion got on board. The pilot talks about having livestock in the cargo as Kathy is still waiting for her boyfriend as she is annoyed as he hasn't turned up after 3 hours. She tries to phone him but he doesn't answer. Kathy is upset. I feel bad for her as suddenly he turns up. They get in as they drive off. So we get an update on everything that has happened since the filming as the lion sadly died and Kathy broke up with her boyfriend. So the episode ends on that bum note. The next episode now, and we have jumped forward a bit as we have season 9 episode 3. So the passengers are getting checked in as suddenly some drag artists turn up and greet everyone. They say they are off to Prague as they have brought some lookalikes along with them as they show off. They show off his passport photo as they explains everywhere they have been. So they go off to get on the plane as the narrator then announces they are planning a surprise birthday party for them. So at Luton, the board in the bar is playing up as the passengers are angry. The man explains what has happened as we get another passenger who has experienced the same thing. She is more than angry. The crew say the passenger is a liar as they get into an argument. She says she wants to be on the flight tonight as the crew says there are no seats tonight. The passenger then pulls out "I'm a journalist" card as she is very rude. She wants a manager as they go off to get one. So the drag artists are in the lounge as they flirt with other passengers. They get into a little sing-song as they cheer. The angry passengers are still here blaming the boards as the manager comes out and tries to offer peace. The manager explains it is her fault as she swears. The manager notices the child behind her as she then explains that it is not a swear words as I'm confused on her argument. The other passenger comes over and joins the argument. She then talks about her daughter and how she is missing her as the manager checks the bar. So the drag artists are on board as they mess around on the phone thing as they help in the serving. They get off as they take a picture as the manager checks the board as he can't find anything wrong. He explains what the passengers did wrong. They agree to get on the next flights as they give in. So in Prague we see a spy or something as the narrator says he returns to London twice a week. He says his cover was nearly blown as we follow him to London. It's all very strange as the lookalikes are throwing a party for Dame Kitty as she gets out a limo as the party starts. Loads of cake and gifts as the spy gets his goods as he says goodbye to his family. He gets on the bus, train and plane as we get a shopping list as it is very confusing. So he gets on the plane as he talks rubbish. He gets off as we are back in London. He gets in a car and drives off. So in August the place is packed as they are talking about the new staff they have. They have 3 new members on the desks as one of them bellows. The queues are huge as one of the passengers gets annoyed. He says they were too slow to get him on board. He looks for a supervisor as she tells him they are new and should give them a chance. So with the spy, he is revealed to be a firefighter, while that is certainly a commute to work. He says he loves living in Prague but working over in the UK. So back at Luton, another passenger hasn't got their ID as she gets upset. The man talks about the train as he gets frustrated. He explains he is trying to get to Scotland as he calls the staff stupid. He talks about an 8-armed monster as the woman goes home for some ID. So back at Bristol the queues are impacting the traffic as there was a crash outside the airport. The crew try to delay the flights as they want more passengers on board. There are scenes of chaos as passengers still manage to get on. The pilot delays the flight as long as possible as passengers dash to get on board. The Newcastle flight finally closes as the final passengers get on in time. The plane goes off as at Luton the woman makes it back in time with her ID as she gets on board. Everything was a success as the episode ends. Finally we have season 10 episode 16. So the narrator is explaining all the computer stuff as the crew type away. The computers have crashed as some passengers are confused on why they haven't been checked in. The staff try to understand what has happened as the captain won't accept the 2 late ones for travel. They are confused on why a party of 6 gets split up. So some dad is dropping his son off for his flight, but there was a crash on the motorway so he was late. The staff man says they can't get on board as the dad begs to get him on board. The dad says the staff wasn't helpful as he tries to sneak him on board, very sneaky. It clearly didn't work as the dad rants and raves. The staff explains his reasoning as the son cries. So back with the party of 6 are still complaining as they all need to be in Germany. So the manager tries to find a flight as he can't find one until tomorrow. They can't believe he has suggested Berlin as that is too far away. They get very mad as the 2 remaining passengers have to go tomorrow morning. The manager goes to book as he finds out they can fly out tonight instead. It's all very confusing. They go to check in as the plane goes off. So the dad and the kid are still trying to get on the flight as they transfer him onto the next flight. They find out he is only 13 as they say he has to be 14 to travel alone. The dad can't believe it as the staff explain why he can't fly alone. The dad goes to make a call as he is confused by the rules. The kid swears. Naughty naughty. So at Luton the famous chef Phil Vicky has arrived as he heads to France to open a winery. He pours everyone a drink as the competition winners have arrived. He talks about wine as he is as boring as ever here. The flag goes down as they drink up. So Sarah has come off shift as she explains she is doing a skydive for a charity, because her boyfriend is very ill with kidney failure. That is very sad, but in the air Phil is treating his ladies to more drink as he gets them drunk. So another passenger has turned up as he has arrived late. He begs because his grandma is in hospital. He shouts and screams in French as the staff try to get him to calm down. He calls the captain again as he says no. He begs again as Sarah has arrived for her skydive. Her boyfriend is very proud as she gets upset. She is very nervous as she watches other people. So the French guy is still arguing as the staff find him another flight for tonight. They book him in as everything works out in the end. Suddenly a bunch of hen doors have turned up in a limo as they go off to party. They talk about the bride-to-be as the competition winners are still having more wine as they arrive at the festival. They get annoyed everything is in French despite being in France. They get so drunk as the hen doors get stuck in the airport as she has the wrong name on her passport. She tries to get on as she gets caught at the gate. They let her on as they head to Liverpool. They get on the plane as Sarah is up for her skydive. So she gets on board as she then gets chucked out the plane. You wouldn't see me doing this. Everyone watches on as she drifts down to the ground. She lands safely as they celebrate her surviving. We get an update on everything as the episode ends. The show was so successful that there was an American spin-off that lasted for 3 seasons from 2004. In conclusion, as someone who has never been on an aeroplane in his life, Airline is the next best thing. Learning about the staff and crew and what they do at the airport to watching the angry passengers as they always blame the staff, when in fact it is mostly their fault apart from a few rare occasions. Airline was a groundbreaker when it came to fly-on-the-wall documentary shows, and it remains a huge classic in British TV. Some of the characters like Jane Bolton or Katrina Leader have been big hits in pop culture in recent years. So overall it is a must-watch. So thank you for watching. If you have any TV shows you like to see me do, put them in the comments.